Hello and welcome to another live. I am trying to do this on Saturdays to bring you all the news updates on food stamps, social security, and other government benefits, and any personal finance news that is coming in and out of Congress that may affect your benefits. So today I have big changes that are coming to SNAP benefits. So let's get right into it. So what I want to talk about is the 10 big changes that are coming to SNAP in 2025 and 2 tips and techniques for getting more food stamps. A lot of seniors say they're only getting $23. Well, I'm going to give you tips on what you can do to increase your food stamps benefits. So let's get to the 10 changes in food stamps that are coming up in 2025. Now, if you can hear me, let me know in the comment section. Let me know where you're listening from. I want to know where people are tuning in into this channel. So, what are the 10 changes that are coming in 2025? Well, the first one is that food stamps maximum benefits are going up. So, a family of 4 is going to get $975 if you live in the lower 48 states. If you are in Alaska, you are going to get 1,258, and if you are in Guam, 1,437, and the Virgin Islands, 1,254, and Hawaii, 1,723. So we have somebody from Ohio listening, from Euclid, Ohio. We have St. Louis County. Is that what that is? From Nebraska. Thank you for watching. Let me know where you are listening to this live from. I want to know where people are tuning in from. So, what are the maximum benefits that is coming up? Well, in starting in October, actually, if you're a family of 1, you're gonna get $292. A family of 4, 975. A family of 6, 1,390, and a family of 8, 1,756. And we have more people tuning in from Texas, from Reno, Nevada. Keep them coming. I want to know where you are tuning in from. So, going on with the maximum benefit, if you live in Alaska, whether you're in a rural area or urban area, how much you're going to get changes based on where you live and how many people are in your household. And then we have different income limits from Guam, Hawaii, and Virgin Islands. Welcome from Brooksville, Florida. Sorry. So, moving on with the income limits, let's talk about the second change that is coming. How much are you going to get? A lot of people cannot figure out how much food stamps they're going to get. So I'm going to give you a simple formula that is coming directly from the USDA. So what you do is that you have to take your net income, you take your gross income and you deduct the allowable deductions, which I'm about to talk about in a second, and you multiply that by 30%. And that amount that you get, you subtract it from the maximum income for your category. So, for example, in this example, if your net income is 1,056, you multiply that by 0.3, and then you get 317. Why is the 0.3 important? Is because the government is, if you're on low income, they expect you to spend 30% of your income on food. And so if you beyond that, that is when you get assistance. So the 0.3 then gives you 317. And then we take a maximum for your category. So if you're a family of 4, the maximum you're supposed to get is $975. And the government expects you to already spend $317 of your own money. So now you take 975 from the 317, and then you get 658. That is how much you're going to get. That is how SNAP benefits are calculated. So it is a very simple formula, but everybody sees the table that I showed previously, and they think that you are eligible for the maximum benefit. You are not. It depends on your net income minus 0.3%, and then you deduct whatever is left from the maximum benefits, and that tells you how much you're going to get. Again, I want to know where everybody is tuning in from, so let me know in the comment section below. I want to acknowledge you guys and thank you for joining me today on this live. So let's talk about income limit. So the third change that is coming is income limit. So what is the income limit to qualify for food stamps? Well, that goes up every year based on COLA. And for 2024, 2025, It is 130% of the federal poverty level. That is the government minimum. So what does that mean? It means that if you're a single person, you need to make less than $1,632 to qualify as gross income. A family of four is 3,380, and a family of six is 4,546. Of course, in Alaska and Hawaii, that amount is higher because the cost of living in those two areas are higher than the lower 48 states and Washington, D.C. So this is the gross income limit. And then we have the net income limit, which is 100% of the federal poverty level. So if you want to figure out your net income limit that you need to meet in order to qualify for food stamps, it is what I've displayed on the screen. For a single person, is 1,255. For a family of four, is 2,600. For a family of six, is 3,497. There are different limits for Alaska and Hawaii. Now, if you're in a household with a senior or someone on disability, there is a different income limit. There's a different gross income limit that you have to meet. And so for seniors, it's $2,071 if you're single. If you're a household of two people, it's $2,811. And there are separate income limits for seniors in Hawaii and Alaska. Now, seniors only have to meet the gross income limit. There's no net income limit requirement, and their income limit is higher at 165% of the federal poverty level. So if you're a senior citizen, your chances of getting food stamps are higher than the general population because your income limit qualification is higher. Because when I showed before, the gross income limit for everybody else is 130% of the federal poverty level. But for seniors, it's 165% of the federal poverty level. So that is how, the income limits are determined. And when we talk about changes coming up, these are the income limits you need to meet for 2024, 2025. So if you are already on food stamps and you need to renew your food stamps or recertify, this is the income limit they are going to use to determine whether you're still eligible for benefits or not. The third change that is coming is that the asset limit is going up. What is the asset limit? It is the resources that you have in terms of bank accounts, etc. And there's a limit for everybody else. It's $3,000. It went up by $250. And then for seniors, it's $4,500. So if you're a senior or in a household with somebody on disability, their income, their resource limits are higher at $4,500. So again, as you can see, the SNAP threshold and limits and eligibility requirement for seniors are more generous than they are for everybody else. The fourth change that is coming is the minimum benefit is still $23. And I know this is the biggest frustration for a lot of seniors. And so I have something coming up. If you stay till the end of this video, I have tips that I want to give you on how you can increase or get more food stamps. So stay till the end of this video. I'm going to go over certain slides, give you specific, practical, actionable tips that you can act on to be able to get more food stamps and make sure that all the deductions that you're eligible for are being taken. But the minimum food stamps amount is remaining at $23. And here are the deductions. So there are deductions that are taken from your gross income to arrive at your net income. And there is maximum homeless shelter deductions if you're homeless at $190. And then there's standard deductions for everybody else. So if you're a household of one, two, or three, your standard deduction is $204 a month. Moving on, this is the table of the whole deductions that are allowable for standard deductions. As you can see, for Alaska, Guam, Hawaii, and Virgin Islands, there are different deductions versus the lower 48 states. And then there's shelter deductions, also at $712 for the lower 48 and DC, and different ones for Alaska, Guam, Hawaii, and Virgin Islands. And I've already talked to you about the homeless shelter deductions, which is the same across the board. Now let's move on to the next change that is coming to food stamps: work requirements. Now I want to talk about this because there's a lot of misconceptions around What the work requirements are, there's a lot of myths online that people who are on food stamps do not work. That is generally not true. In general, and this is from the USDA website, in general, people must meet work requirements to be eligible for SNAP. These work requirements include registering for work, not voluntarily quitting a job or reducing your hours, taking a job if offered, and participating in an employment training program if assigned by your state. Failure to comply with these requirements can result in disqualification from the program. In addition, able-bodied adults without dependents are required to work to participate in a work program of at least 20 hours per week in order to receive SNAP benefits for more than 3 months in a 36-month period. What does this all mean? It means that if you're an adult without dependents, you have to work to get food stamps. Otherwise, the maximum you can get food stamps is 3 months in a 3-year period. So if you know an adult without dependents and the person is getting food stamps beyond 3 months in a 3-year period, it means that they are either working 20 hours a week or participating in an approved job program by their state, or they are exempted. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. Now, some categories of people are exempted from the work requirements. So you have children, seniors, veterans, individuals experiencing homelessness, and individuals age 24 or younger and in foster care on their 18th birthday, pregnant women, and people who are exempt for physical or mental health reasons. Those are the categories of people who are exempted from the work requirement. So what are the work requirements? If you're between the age of 16 and 59, you have to work to get SNAP benefits, or you have to be in an approved SNAP employment and training program or a work fair if assigned by your state agency. And these are very strict, and you cannot voluntarily quit job, and you have to work at least 30 hours a week without, quitting your job without a good reason. Now, you're excused from work requirements if you're already working at least 30 hours a week. You meet the work requirements for another program if you're on time for unemployment compensation. If you're taking care of a child under 6 or an incapacitated person, it means that you're providing childcare to somebody and that's your job to do that. Unable to work due to physical or mental conditions, you're participating regularly in an alcohol or drug treatment program, or you're a student studying in school or in a training program at least half of the time. So you can see there are very strict work requirements, and the exemptions are for specific groups of people. Now, I've already talked about adults without children or dependents. If you are 18 to 54 and are able to work and don't have any dependents, you have to meet the general work requirements and additional work requirements to be able to get food stamps for more than 3 months in any 3 given years. So, as you can see, there are strict work requirements. So there's a myth out there that people on food stamps are not working. A large majority of people on food stamps have to work to be able to keep their benefits, especially adults without dependents have even additional requirements they have to meet to continue to get food stamps. Now, let's talk about exemptions to the rule. I've already mentioned some of these. If you're pregnant, if you have somebody in your household under 18, if you are a veteran, if you're experiencing homelessness, those are the categories of people who are then exempted from the work requirements. The 7th change that is coming to food stamps is SNAP Summer EBT. This has been a program that was launched last year. It's a permanent program now. If you know somebody that has kids in school and they are on low income, this is a program you have to share with them because it gives kids money, parents to be able to buy food for their kids during the summer months when they are not in school. So the Summer EBT is a new program. It's a permanent program that was launched in 2024 by the USDA, by Congress. Summer EBT is modeled after the temporary Summer EBT program that was launched during the COVID pandemic, and it worked so well that they made it permanent. Now, before I go any further, I want to hear from you. If you are enjoying this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I want to know where you are listening from. So let me know your city and state in the comment section below. And let's talk about summer EBT. It works just like a regular EBT. You get an EBT card to be able to buy food for your child during the summer. It's to help reduce child hunger and improve the quality of the diet during the summer for school age children. The program will provide families with low income children more resources to use at food stores during the summer period. The program is staying on. It's a permanent program for 2025, and 29 million children across the United States are going to benefit from this program. More states are going to be added. I think about probably 35 states have joined the program, and additional states, the states that opted out. I don't know why a state will opt out of this program, but some of them did. I think more of them will be coming along. We have somebody joining from the Bronx, New York. Thank you for joining this live. And the kids are gonna get $40 per month, so it's $120 for the entire summer coming in summer 2025, and it's per child. So if you have 3 kids, if you have 3 kids, you're gonna get $120 a month to be able to buy food for those school age kids if you are low income and you meet the income qualifications. The eighth change that is coming is food stamp fraud. There is a growing increase in food stamps fraud. A lot of people are getting their food stamps stolen from their EBT cards. States would deposit money onto the EBT cards and then they would just vanish because people are scheming the food stamp EBT cards, because the EBT card technology right now is not the safest. And so states are beginning to issue new EBT card to make them safer. And so that's a trend you're going to see in 2025, where states are going to replace your EBT card with ones that have chips in it to be able to help you safeguard your card. And I was just glancing through the news this morning online, and there's so many stories about EBT card fraud. This one from Georgia. Food stamps fraud forces Georgia families to go without food on Thanksgiving. Her SNAP benefits were stolen. She wants to know what's being done to catch the thieves and prevent fraud. That's another story from Richmond, Virginia. And then we have another from Minnesota, understanding fraud in Minnesota, how to fight it. And this was about food stamps fraud in there. Alabama issues warning to food stamps recipient. People are taking people's food stamps out of their mouth, literally. So we have somebody from San Francisco. Thank you for joining. New York City warns seniors to be on the lookout for EBT fraud. It's terrible. It is terrible. And then the government has stepped up food stamp fraud fight. So people are being, every day I look into the news, somebody is being arrested for food stamp fraud. So that's a good thing, because this is becoming a big problem. So this is a change that you're going to see. Now, let's get into some news that may be uncomfortable for some people. So we have a new government coming in. So what is Trump going to do about food stamps? There are some ideas that have been put out by a news organization on what they're hearing. One of them is that this is an idea Trump wanted to do when he was in office previously, the harvest box, where your food stamps, benefits will now be changed into a box that you will receive a month. So instead of you being able to go to the store and use your EBT card to buy food, you're going to get a box from the government. That was the Harvard box idea. You can Google it. And now there's talk that Trump wants to bring that back. Why? Because there is a general perception that people on food stamps are either irresponsible with their food stamps benefit, or they buy the wrong thing. And so the government wants to send you what they think is healthy food, or what you should be using your food stamps to buy. I think it's a ridiculous idea, because the data shows that people on food stamps do not buy anything any different than the regular population that are not on food stamps. But there's this perception in people's mind that everybody on food stamps is buying lobsters and shrimp and steaks and all that. But if you look at the average food stamps amount, people on food stamps are not buying lobster. They're not spending their hard-earned food stamp dollars on lobster. But there's the perception out there, and this is what's driving this idea of sending you a harvest box with government cheese instead of you going and buying your own food with your food stamp benefits. So that is something to look out for. The supermarket news ran this story, and it's been building up as one of the changes. Now, obviously, there are a lot of opposition to this idea, but it's part of the whole plan to cut food stamps next year. Now, if you listen to what's happening with the Farm Bill, the reason why the Farm Bill has not been passed, which is what approves food stamps guidelines for the next 5 years. The reason why the Farm Bill has not been passed is because Congress is fighting over food stamps. You can Google it. You can see there's a fight going on right now between Republicans and Democrats about food stamps. The Republicans want to cut $30 billion over the next decade from the food stamps program, and the Democrats are saying no. And so that's what has kept the Farm Bill from not being passed. But this whole idea of the harvest box is also opposed by grocery stores for obvious reasons. I mean, food stamps are a big source of money for big grocery stores like Kroger, especially Walmart. So they are in opposition to changing food stamps and making it into a harvest box where the government will send you the food they think you should be eating every month. Now, somebody's asking, what about people that have maybe allergic reaction to the prepackaged boxes? That's a great question. That is why I think it's a terrible idea, because the current food stamps program with your EBT allows you to be able to buy food that you consider good for you, you know. But the idea that the government would then package food, the same food, and ship it to everybody every month it flies in the face of reason, because it assumes that we all like the same things, or eat the same thing, or should eat the same thing, or somebody should decide what you should be eating. And the perception is that it comes from a place where people think that people on food stamps are lazy, or got themselves where they got to because they're not trying hard enough. But that is not true. Majority of people on food stamps are kids and seniors and people on disability, and a lot of people on food stamps are working. The people who are not seniors or kids or people on disability are actually working. It's just that they don't make enough money to be able to afford all the food they need to feed their family. And so we have to get out of this perception that people on food stamps did it to themselves, and so we can decide what they can eat. But that is the idea driving this whole thing about sending a harvest box to everybody and feed everybody the same food every month. So, what is the 10th change that is coming? Now, this is not me saying this. This is in the news. Clearly, Republicans with Trump's approval want to cut food stamps. Google it for yourself, educate yourself about it. I'm just bringing you the news. And it is part of this whole government efficiency thing. And Vivek Ramaswamy has indicated that they want to eliminate waste, and they think that food stamps is an opportunity to eliminate waste in the government. He, along with Elon Musk, will head what they call the Department of Government Efficiency, started in January, and one of the places they are looking at is food stamps. Why? Because they believe that $1 billion is wasted every month for people who are not eligible for food stamps. And they believe that overpayment occurs when states allow recipients to continue receiving benefits despite income that should not qualify them. So they believe that some people are receiving food stamps and do not qualify. Is that possible? Is that the case? Well, we'll find out what they find out. Other times, they think that fraudsters are collecting benefits from multiple states due to lack of coordination. So somebody's in Georgia collecting food stamps in California and Georgia. Does that happen? I don't know, but we will see what they find. And so this is what they're focused on. Some of the issues with the food stamps program that will be highlighted include approximately $1 billion is reported lost due to fraud. Over 800,000 fraud cases was reported since the second quarter of 2023. They want to look into that. $150 million in stolen benefits that was replaced. So that's a concern. And other areas where they think they can improve the efficiency of the food stamp program. So what do you think? If you're on food stamps, do you think that the benefits should be cut? Do you think that this idea of sending the harvest box to people on food stamps is a good idea? Do you think it will save the government money? Let me know in the comment section below. Now, there's fraud that they're looking at, which I think is a good idea. If they want to focus on fraud, in my opinion, if the Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy wants to focus on food stamps fraud, I think the best place they should focus on is people who are stealing food stamps from food stamps recipient. And part of the reason is that food stamps, EBT cards are not that sophisticated like bank debit cards. So the fraud prevention functions on debit cards for food stamps are not that sophisticated. So thieves are able to skim food stamps cards, replicate them, and then use them. So when you go to a convenience store and you use your food stamps card, they have something they've put on the payment machine that records your food stamp pin, and then they can go and replicate your card because they've taken a screenshot of it using a secret camera, and then they replicate your card and they can use it anywhere. That is the biggest problem, in my opinion, of food stamps fraud is people stealing food stamps from people who legitimately have been approved for benefits and getting their benefits taken away through fraud. So I am going to move on from proposed food stamps fraud and food stamp cuts because that is coming up in the news and we are all going to stay focused on it. And I will make sure that anything that comes up that will affect your food stamps benefit, whether in and out of Congress, I am going to let you know in my weekly lives every Saturday. So stay tuned for more information about that. So, what do you think? What do you think about potential cuts to food stamps? What do you think about changes that are coming up in 2025? Let me know your comments. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Now, somebody has said they denied me because I couldn't get anyone on the phone to proceed with application. I was on hold for 3 hours and got a letter a week later saying I was denied. That is unfortunate. With food stamps, I think that one, a lot of the food stamp agencies are understaffed. And number two, I don't think that they take that responsibility as serious as they should, understanding that people who are applying for food stamps need the help and should be treated with a sense of urgency. So you have to be persistent, unfortunately, when it comes to food stamps application. And part of it is that you may have to go to a food stamps office near you if you are on the phone. And I know there's mobility issues, there's transportation issues, but this is one of the cases where you have to press all the levers to be able to get benefits. So if you're on the phone and they are not paying attention to you or you're not getting anybody on the phone, then visit a local office, get somebody to drive you to the office and go apply. Because once you apply, they are obligated to process your application, interview you, review your application, and within 30 days, give you a response. But if they don't receive your application or your complete application, then it gives them a wiggle room to be able to deny your benefits because you didn't have a complete application. Now, moving on to another person says, anyone has to buy their own kind of food to eat what we like to eat, not what. Yes, I agree. This is the second time that has happened. I am a senior needing food stamps and I can't even get help to proceed with paper with food agent. Yes, yes. So I think that, if you have to go to the office, that's what I advise you. If you're trying to rely on somebody getting on the phone with you and it's not happening, get somebody to give you a ride. There are organizations out there, the area agency for the aging, there's neighbor rides, there's all these organizations that help seniors with transportation, and there are food banks that also help you apply for food stamps. So if you're getting frustrated with the food stamps agency, contact your local food bank and they can help you put in an application, and your area agency on aging can also help you with that. So moving on to senior benefits, what can you do to get more food stamps in 2025? Well, here are some tips. We already know that a lot of seniors are getting $23 and are frustrated that they're not getting enough food stamps. And it makes sense. $23 doesn't really buy anything, you know. So how can you get more benefits? Well, one thing I would say is that there's been recent changes to food stamps application to make it easier for seniors to apply. Most states have a reduced application for for seniors that is much shorter. The requirements are more streamlined, and as I mentioned before, seniors have a higher income limit than the regular population. So, what is the income limit? If you're one, in a household of one, is 1,632 for the general population, but for seniors is $2,071. And if you're a household of two, is $2,215 for the general population, but it's $2,800.11 for seniors. So the income limit for seniors is more generous. And as I mentioned, this is the income limit for the regular population to apply for food stamps if you're not a senior. And they have to also meet a net income limit. But for seniors, you only have to meet the gross income limit, and this is the senior food stamps income limit. For a household of one is 2,071. For a household of two is 2,811. And if you're a household with somebody that is disabled, same requirement: 2,071 for one, 2,811 for two. And then your asset limit is more generous. Actually, it's not 4,250, it's now 4,500. So I'm going to update that in the next time I do this. So what does that mean? It means that you can have money in your bank account up to $4,500 as a senior and still qualify for food stamps. How to apply? The best way is to go to your food stamps office. That's a guaranteed way to be able to document that you went there, they took your application, and you know who took your application. But you can also apply by phone, and you can get organizations that can help you apply. A lot of senior organizations help you apply for food stamps. A lot of food banks can help you apply for food stamps. Even some hospitals have offices that help you apply for benefits. So there are many, many organizations out there that can assist you apply for food stamps and get benefits if you need it urgently. There are some deductions that need to be taken out of your food stamps application to be able to give you the maximum amount. So there are things that your caseworker needs to take into consideration. So when you're applying, make sure that you bring things like your medical expenses. What are you spending on a monthly basis on healthcare, medical equipment, doctor visit, prescription drugs? Because all those things are part of things that can be deducted from your food stamps to be able to ensure that you get maximum benefits. Now, what happens if you are denied food stamps? Well, you have rights. And so you can appeal, and even if you're not denied and the amount of benefits you got was not what you think you should get, you can still appeal the decision. So you don't have to just take it. So whatever they give you doesn't mean that you have to take it. If you think something's wrong with it or you don't think they calculated it correctly, you can request an appeal, and that must be filed within 90 days. And so if you go to your food stamp agency's website and you go to the section that says, I want to appeal, you can appeal right online, or you can go back to your caseworker and have them file, I'll help you file an appeal. So, things to remember. One of the reasons why seniors don't apply for food stamps, 50% of seniors that are eligible for food stamps don't apply, is because they think that they are taking benefits away from somebody. Part of it is shame, part of it is stigma. But the thing is that when you get food stamps, you get an EBT card. If it looks like a debit card. And so it's not the olden days where you go and you have paper food stamps and everybody knows you're using food stamps. These days, when you go to a supermarket to buy food with your food stamps card, barely anybody knows that you're using food stamps because you have a debit card. And if you know the foods that you're approved to buy, you buy those foods, which is a whole range of foods that you can buy, and you use your EBT card, nobody will know you're using food stamps. And so if you need it, I will encourage you to apply for it because it is one of the few benefits where anybody that is eligible and applies will get it. So food stamps, there's not like a set limit where they run out. There are other programs like, the low income heating and energy assistance program. A lot of states run out of money before, they can serve everybody. But with food stamps, if you are eligible and you qualify based on the income limit, you will get it hands down. So it's one of the programs that it's a no-brainer. You should apply. And a lot of people say, oh, I only got $23, it's not worth it. Well, here's the thing. As I'm mentioning there, you can go back and have your case reviewed to make sure that all the deductions have been taken. But also, when you have that EBT card, there are other things that it gives you access to. For example, if you spend, there are certain farmers markets, if you spend $20 to buy produce, you get $20 free in produce. It's called the food stamps, the double your bucks program. And so there are many benefits. There's a lot of about 2,000 museums around the country where you can go for free or for $3 if you have an EBT card. If you can get Amazon Prime half off if you have an EBT card. You can get Walmart Plus half off if you have an EBT card. So there are many, many other things or benefits that you get having an EBT card. And so it's, even if you're not getting the amount that you think you should get, it's still worth getting the EBT card because it also gives you access to other things that you may not necessarily be able to take advantage of if you did not have that card. So if you need help applying for food stamps, getting answers to your questions, or getting your application reviewed, go to your local SNAP office. And if you're not happy with how much you're getting, you have a right to get it reviewed. Have your caseworker look at your case again. You may have provided them outdated information in your application, or they may make assumptions about your expenses or income that may not be correct. So at least get them to relook at it. Some things you can claim so that you can get more food stamps are medical expenses, housing costs, dependent care if you're caring for somebody in your house. All those things are eligible as deductions. And then you can update your application, and hopefully when they do your review, you'll be entitled to more benefits other than what you're getting now. Also, as I mentioned, there are professional organizations out there that can help you apply as a senior for food stamps, food banks, AARP services, legal aid offices. All those organizations have offices or staff that can help you as a senior get more food stamps or get food stamps if you're already not getting benefits. Now, there are other programs that you may not know about that also provide food assistance. The first one is the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program. It offers vouchers to purchase fresh produce. And this is one of the things that a lot of people don't know. It is accepted at farmers markets, roadside stands, and community farms. And to qualify, you have to make less than 185% of the federal poverty level. So if you qualify for food stamps, you'll probably likely qualify for the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program because the food stamps gross income is 165%, and this one is 185. It encourages access to healthy, locally sourced food options for seniors. So to apply for this program, go to your state's agricultural agency or visit the website that I've provided below. It is run by the USDA. It's one of the programs that have been around for a long time. The image that I showed on the screen is the South Carolina version of the program, the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program. It's an excellent program. It's been around forever. Take advantage of it. If you have an opportunity to get more food, why not? Especially when you can use the voucher at farmers market, roadside stands, and community farms. Another program is the Commodity Supplemental Food Program. Maybe this is where the Harvest Box idea came from. It's a monthly food box that includes staples, grains, and canned foods and dairy. It aims to combat food insecurity among low-income seniors 60 plus. You have to make 130% of the federal poverty level to qualify, and is distributed by USDA. If you're interested, contact your local USDA office or go to the website below. Now, I want to know where everybody is tuning in from. So let me know in the comment section what is your city and state, and let me know what you think so far about what I've presented. Are you going to get your food stamps reviewed? Are you getting enough benefit? Do you think you were awarded the amount that you were eligible for? Or do you think that they need to consider more things about your expenses and your income in order to review your food stamps application and get you more benefits? Now, another thing is what I talked about, the double up food box. This is, thank you. Somebody says great presentation. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I really take time to really bring you information that I think will be helpful to you. So I appreciate the feedback. So the double up food box is a program that matches your EBT dollars so that you get twice the fruits and vegetables. So this is an excellent program that runs. There are about 900 locations across the country. And basically, you go there, you show your EBT card, and then they will give you some chips, and it's eligible, or you can use those chips to get twice the amount of produce. So your fruits and vegetables, you buy every month or every week, you can get double that. So if you spend $20, you get $20 worth of fruits and vegetables also, and you can do that every single week. So this is a no-brainer. So if you have a local farmers market, it is important to check to see if they are offering this program. And it may not be called the double up food box in your state, but they have another name for it, but it's the same program. Contact your local farmers market or go to the website doubleupamerica.org and find your state, and it will tell you specifically what program is in your local area and the particular farmers market in your local area that are participating in this program. We have Janet from Galax, Virginia. Thank you for tuning in. And this program has been around forever. It's a way to save money so that at least you are doubling your produce purchase and getting more produce for the money you're spending on food every week. So, what do you think about the SNAP benefit tips that I've provided? Let me know in the comment section. And if you have any questions at all about food stamps, hit me up in the comments. I will make sure that I read everything. And if there are questions I need to research, I'll research them and come back to you next Saturday with more updates on food stamps, Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, and anything that affects your government benefits in and out of Congress. I want to bring it to you. So stay tuned. Subscribe if you're new to this channel, because I want you to be the first to know when we post a new video. So until I see you next Saturday, thank you very much for watching.